Yes, Sri Krishna. In this session, we begin our study of chapter 17 of the Bhagavad Gita. Basically, this chapter is continuation of chapter 16, starting with inquiry by Arjuna, prompted by Lord Krishna's recommendation to adhere to the guidelines outlined in sacred books like Bhagavad Gita. So, here is the inquiry. Arjuna was ये शास्त्रविधिमुत्सृज्य यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विताः तेषां निष्ठा तु का कृष्ण सत्त्वमाहो रजस्तमः. Arjun asks, what happens to those who worship with faith but without following the mandates from the sacred books? Such worships, rather method of worships, are guided by traditions, personal beliefs, or community-based system. So this has been done by my forefathers. So I am doing this. So rather than referring to the sacred books, such people refer to the traditions or acts having been done by their forefathers. This question also underscores the importance of understanding whether faith alone is sufficient without guidance of authentic spiritual texts like Bhagavad Gita. At the same time, it highlights the value of questioning and getting the things cleared, getting the doubts cleared as far as spiritual domain is concerned. Okay? So we should not accept anything and everything in the name of spirituality. Lord Krishna responds, Sri Bhagavan Vach, Trividha Bhavati Shraddha, Dehinam Sa Swabhavaja, Sattwiki Rajasi Chaiva, Tamasi Cheti Tam Shidu, Sattvanurupa Sarvas, Shraddha Bhavati Bharata, Sraddham Yoyam Purusho, Yo Yachraddha Sa Eva Sah, Yajante Sattwika Devan, Yaksharakshansi Rajasaha, Pretan Bhut Gananschanye, Yajante Tamasa Jana. In these three verses, Lord Krishna talks about the way people with three different gunas engage in act of worship. So, how Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic people engage in the worship of the divinity, or whom do they involve into worship of? So, a Sattvic individual inclined towards goodness and harmony worships the divine and virtuous deities. So these deities represent purity, goodness, and spirituality. A Rajasic person, driven by passion and desires, worship entities like yakshas and rakshasas, demons. Okay, so whom are seen as providers of materialistic fulfillment. And Tamasic people, influenced by ignorance and inertia, worships ghosts and spirits, symbolizing fear, horror, ignorance, darkness, malice, So there is a difference in the way the people with different gunas engage in worship. Lord Krishna's explanation reveals how one's faith and worship are direct reflections of their inner qualities. So, what they worship, okay, it signifies their nature. Worship of virtuous deities signifies purity, goodness. So, that's what is the nature of Sattvic people. Rajasic people, they involve in worship of yakshasas and rakshasas, demons, and celestial beings who are seen as provider of materialistic fulfillment. So desire. Rajasic people are desirous, desire for materialistic accumulation. And then tamasic are like inert, lost in imagination, okay, gripped with fear, inertia. So what they worship, ghosts and spirits, symbolizes the same thing. So the way they engage in the act of worship is a direct reflection of their inner qualities. And then Lord Krishna further says, Ashastri vihitam ghoram tapyante ye tapo jana dambhahankara sanyukta कामराग बलान्विता कर्षयन्तः शरीरस्थं भूतग्रामं चेतसः मां चैवान्तः शरीरस्थं तान् विद्यासुरनिश्चयान्. Then he says, such people, tamasic people, whose understanding is clouded because of ignorance, they engage in extreme forms of austerity and penance, not prescribed in sacred books. And this is influenced by ignorance and hypocrisy, driven by desire and attachment to materialistic goals. Like I heard about Khareshwar Baba. He is standing for years. He neither sits nor lies down. So this kind of penance, it's not prescribed by Lord Krishna. Such practices often prove harmful to body, mind, and spirit. What is a spirit? The God inside, the divinity inside. So you are hurting, you are paining the divinity also. The Lord Krishna who resides in everyone's body, you are hurting him also. And thereby, you hamper your spiritual progress. So, Bhagavad Gita denies these kind of, extreme forms of austerity and penance, keeping hands like this, extending for years. What we see these days coming as news from Kumbh Mela, this is all against the Bhagavad Gita. Now, Lord Krishna talks about the dietary preferences of people with three different gunas. He says, Aharas, Aharas tvapi sarvasya trividho bhavati priyah yajnastapastatha dānam tesham bhedamimam shinu आयुः सत्त्वबलारोग्य सुखप्रीतिविवर्धनाः रस्याः स्निग्धाः स्थिरा हृद्या आहाराः सात्विकप्रियाः. Katvam lalavanatyushna tikshna vidahinah ahara rajasyeshta dukkha shokamaya pradah yatayamam gatarasham puti paryushitam chayat uच्छिष्टमपि चामेध्यम भोजनम तामसप्रियम. Lord Krishna explains the dietary preferences of people with different gunas. So, what kind of food is preferred by Sattvic people? Sattvic individuals prefer foods that promote long life, mental clarity, strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. These foods are fresh, juicy, naturally fatty, such as nuts and seeds, easily digestible, sthira, not staying in the stomach for long or irritating the stomach, and pleasing to senses. They bring balance and harmony in both body and mind. Rajasic people are drawn to food that are spicy, bitter, sour, salty, hot, pungent, dry, and burning. While these foods stimulate the senses, they ultimately lead to sorrow, pain, and disease by overstimulating the body and mind. Tamasic people, Tamasic people consume foods that are stale, putrid, fermented, fermented beyond safety, leftover, or prepared in unhygienic conditions. These foods dull the mind, means it causes inertia. And that's what the nature of Tamasic people is. So these foods dull the mind, promote lethargy, and lead to confusion and lack of clarity. By understanding these dietary distinctions, one can make conscious choices to align their habits with their spiritual and physical well-being. So that's all about this session. In the upcoming session, we will see what Lord Krishna says about the way people with different gunas do dāna, that is charity, and tap, that is austerity, and all these things. So basically distinction between the way these people with the different gunas, okay, behave, act in their life. So keep watching. Thank you very much. See you in the next session. Thank you.